Good evening, everybody. Welcome back. Today is the last day of our 5-day session. And as we close the session today, we have saved the best for the last. Okay. So today we will finish off with exception handling, go to classes and objects, and then we will try to take a real life use case. Okay. So before I start, am I audible and is my screen visible? Okay. Thank you. So thank you, everybody. Yeah. Now, before I start today, I want to show you something very interesting. I found a news item from a technical online site which speaks about the 20 most popular programming languages in July 2023. And by the way, this time also fifth year in a row, the award goes to Python. As per the TOIB index, okay, which is basically rating source from Google, Bing, Yahoo, etc. Okay, so as per the TOIB ratings, Python has got the top most popular language for the fifth time in a row. So I hope that news makes you feel good. This news gives you a purpose that learning Python opens up a lot of doors for you. In fact, for that matter, learning any programming language opens up lots of doors for you. Okay, so with that positive note, let's start our study. So before I get into the class, what was the homework that I had given you? Yeah? What was the homework? Come on. You need to tell me, please. Nobody's done it, is it? Come on, you have even forgotten what was the homework. Huh? Okay, good. Murli is saying SysOS JSON, right? I told you to read about these and understand these modules. Did you read it? Did you explore it? Okay, good. We shall see. And I had also given you one program to write. What was the program? What was the program? Nobody's done it. Okay, nothing doing. Time is less. If you don't do, you only miss out. Okay. So let us go ahead and start with our study today. Yesterday, we have covered up till modules and file handling. Today, I will quickly show you exception handling and why it is so important. What notes you didn't get, Shushmita? What notes didn't you get? I didn't understand your question. Notes means if you mean these PDFs, they're there in your LMS. Please check it. Okay, I have not given any notes apart from it. I'm giving classwork or homework, which is supposed to note and work out on your own. Okay. Now, today exception handling. What is an exception, guys? What is an exception? Error, right? So how do you handle errors? So suppose there's a program like this. I act crazy and I try to divide a number by 0. So I get a red color something message which says 0 division error, division by 0. So such unwarranted scenarios, if I don't handle them properly, it becomes a very big problem for users to understand later on. So if you give such error messages, then the user won't be able to understand what is going on. Also, you need to rectify the error and continue trying. So how do you handle such errors and ensure that your code comes clean is known as exception handling. Okay, so exception handling happens within a block of code called try and except. Like we have if else, etc., else if, else. So try and except is a block of code for handling errors. So try means try keyword. You write your code inside this. Suppose a equals to, say, int, enter, number. Okay. B is I'm taking, so I'm asking user to enter another number. Enter second number. The second number. Now, A divided by B. Okay. Print int of A divided by B. Now, very simple. But you know, people, your user can be absolutely foolish, can try silly scenarios. So what you do to make it foolproof, FOOL intended, pun intended. So you now say except what if there's an error. This except keyword tells the interpreter that you're planning for exception handling. Screen is not visible. The screen is not visible, is it? Oh, I'm so sorry. Sharing my entire screen. Is it visible now? Okay. Okay. Thank you. Right. Thanks a lot, everybody. Now, in such cases, except, now you see my code, right? So what I do, except, when I say except, it means I'm telling the interpreter, look, I'm going to handle errors over here. So what do I say? Suppose I know so these are the error types which are system defined errors. So there's an entire list of them you can search out. Usually the errors are like this: Z capital, D capital, E capital. So I say, okay, I know that zero division error might happen colloquially. I say, okay, print, what do I say? You have entered a zero as the divisor. Okay. And if there's some error which I can't anticipate now at this point of time. So what do? I simply keep a block like this, except, and means any other error, print, there is some error. Okay. Now let me try out this code. So enter a number 10. So enter second number 0. See, it tells you have entered a 0 as the divisor. Okay. So what if some other error happens? Suppose int a, suppose I try to import some module here which doesn't exist. Import kidding. Okay. Now let's see. Enter a number, say 10. Enter a second number 20. See, now it says except there is some error. What error? So it executed. Remember interpreted language, right? So first 3 lines were correctly executed, but this module import, it is not existent. So it said that, okay, this, I'm not sure what error is there, but there's some error. Okay. I could have said, okay, I could have also tried like this, except exception as E, and I can say F. Now, don't ask me what I'm doing right now. Okay. 5. There is some error, no module name, kidding. So guys, what I will tell you now might make more sense to you once we cover the classes and objects concepts. So this exception that you see here written like this means, you know what? This is the base class of all other exceptions. Means this is like the parent from which all these other types of exceptions are directly or indirectly derived. So that is why I give except exception as E, means as an alias. Okay, I created an exception object and then I said, please tell me what is the exact error name. So it told me there is no module named Kidden. Okay. So are you comfortable now with the concept of exceptions? Did you get an idea of an exception? Did you understand where exceptions have to be used? I'm giving you an actual idea of how we use it in production. One sec. So you see, this is a big, very big code. Okay. You see over here, I have written a code which actually reads from a dictionary. And see, I put it in try except block because I know that there might be a key which is non-existent. And in such cases, I will have a problem. So I have put an except key error to give an idea of what I'm doing over here. Suppose there is a dictionary A, say city is population is say some 100 million. Okay, city is say Panjim, population is say 10 million. Okay, now suppose I want to access a value from this dictionary with the key named as say key name. What can I give? Say I give Ranchi. So I will get an error called as key error. Okay. So in such cases, to handle such errors, because I'm reading from a dictionary and there's a very big chance that the particular key with which I'm searching, my dictionary may be non-existent. So I put a try and except clause. Got it? Okay. Yes, Maridas, that's correct. It's the same like Java catch and try. Catch, try, and catch and try, right? What do you have there? Catch and accept. Yeah, Python, it's same. Okay. So why don't you try this? You can think of a scenario and quickly write a try and accept block of code. Please take 5 minutes, but try it. It didn't get imported. I was just showing you that if I'm trying to import some module which is non-existent, you will get an error. It got imported because I was kidding. Kidding module, I was kidding with the kidding module. That is why it got imported. Come on, take time, 5 minutes, time till 7:30. Try this and tell me. Okay, if you can't think of any scenario, just try what I've done. Okay, are you through? Yeah, correct. Right, Gayatri. Your indentation is wrong, but you will get an error if you run it. Okay, fair enough. So you have got the gist of it. Now, finally, there are one or two more things here in here which you can try is one or two statements are there. Okay, so suppose we do try, no, we did multiple try and except. So there can also be, you can add two more blocks of code called else and finally. Else means when all your when you don't encounter any more exceptions, then this block of code is printed. Else and finally means this code is printed no matter what, whether the code is bug free or whether you have some exceptions. Okay. So else and finally, two more blocks of code. Yeah. So I have given you at a very high level exception handling for you to start working on it. Obviously, there are many other exceptions that you can work with, like user defined exception, assertion exceptions. Okay. So these are left for you to explore and learn. Yeah. Okay. Right. So now that exception handling is done, next thing that we will work on now is what? Classes and objects. Do you have any questions for me? 2 minutes. Do you want to take a quick? Do you want me to stop quickly and answer your questions? No questions? Okay, good. Other errors that you can encounter, you can encounter errors like IO error. Okay, like say file opening errors, file is not present. You're downloading a module which is not there. You can have other sorts of errors like what? Index out of range is one. You can get errors related to JSON file, JSON format not being correct. Okay, so these are some of the errors. Okay, now that we have understood the main parts of Python, the basics are done, and even medium, the high levels are done. So we will now go straight into classes and objects. So I had told you about classes and objects on the day one. Indentation error, Maridas, when you don't indent properly your block of code, that is indentation error like this. If yes, your indentation is not proper, just see somewhere except and try. Somewhere your indentation will not be proper. Yeah, good locks. Very good. Okay. Now, let's take the case of again, let's revisit the concept of classes and objects. Can you give me a few examples of a class and object from real life? I had given you on day one. Now that you have gone through all this and you have understood a bit of it, give me a quick example of a class and object in real life. Take something apart from home and car. I had given you an example with it. Classes, fruits, objects are apple, banana, good. Any company's class and its employees being object. Not exactly, Gayatri. The idea of a company is class, but maybe the real starting up the company is object. Dog class, Shadow object. Okay, right, Mansi. Dog class, maybe Shadow is not the object. Maybe the golden retriever is the object or the pit bull is the object and Shadow is its attribute. Okay, so we will come to the concept of class attributes and methods quickly. Okay, now when you say of a dog, let's take the example of the dog. I liked it. I like this example. Bank account. Okay, good. Yeah, right. So say dog has got 4 legs. Dog has got eyes. Dog has got fur color, etc. So these are the class property. Okay, class attributes. Now when the actual object, say Shedu, the dog, okay, say the Labrador dog, Shedu is the real object. Shedu has a name. Shedu has some peculiar habits. Shedu has the fur color. Okay, Shedu has eyes. Shedu has a certain age. So these are the object attributes. So from the class, the object is created and the object attributes are formed. Let's take the example again of fishes. Now, fish is a general class, but from it you have real world objects like a shark can be a fish, a tilapia or rohu can be fish, a bhangra can be fish. But can you tell me one similarity that binds all of these objects? One similarity. They swim, okay. That's an attribute, but one commonality. They are aquatic. Good, very good, Mansi. They are aquatic means they live in water. So if I have to tell you about fishes, you will tell me their properties, shark, etc. But one thing you will tell me common to all of them is that they live in water. They are aquatic creatures. Okay, so this being aquatic is actually a class property. Means it's common to all the objects. Okay. And as I told you, classes have also methods with them. What is method? It's a functionality. Okay. Clear till this point? Clear? Anybody has any doubt? Okay, good. Now let's see how actually classes are defined in Python and how objects are created out of it. Now if you see here, I have written a piece of code for creating a class called shark. Now, so I have given two methods here. One is swim, one is be awesome. And what do? They just print out this line and this line. Okay. So if I run this, okay. So a class called shark is created, a blueprint. Now I have to create the actual object. What object? How do I create? So I give an object name equals to shark bracket. Why this bracket? We will come to it later. Also think of it like this. A equals to, now do you see how this works out? 10. You create an object of type integer and B equals to hello creates for you a object of type string class. Got it? So this is how it's created. Okay, so now I create an object, two objects rather, Sami and Vicky. And now I invoke the method swim. Remember, as I was invoking those append, extend, all those methods for list object. Similarly, I am invoking now my own methods, swim. Okay. And what does it say? Sami, the shark is swimming. And then if I call the be awesome method, it also invokes the method and prints out this, the shark is being awesome. Okay. Now you can see quickly. Okay, what you do first is write down this code. Okay, you can refer my notes, part 4, classes, in that page number 6. Yes, I will come to it, Lox. Good question. I will come to it. First, I want you to write this code and do all that I did. Then I will answer your question. And by the way, you guys should use your own names. How do I understand? Somebody has put in things like what? Oppo Ketan. Yeah, it's very odd, no? If I have to call you Oppo Ketan 20711A04F2. Yeah. Okay. Come on. Finish this, guys. Quickly finish this, please. I will keep this open. Tell me if you're finished. Okay, if you're finished, now you do one thing. You rewrite this same class definition. Now from this def swim and def be awesome, remove this self. Remove this self and try to call then create the objects as usual, and then try to call these two methods. Tell me what's the outcome, those of you who have tried. You're not going to tell me, I only have to tell you. So let me remove the self for the moment. Are you guys trying or not? Try this, guys, very important. Sammy.swim. Now you see, if I do remove that self and try, as swim takes 0 positional arguments, but 1 was given. What is this 1? Saying that, hey, you're passing an argument, although you told you won't pass any argument. So what then is being passed? Can you guess what is the argument that is being passed to the method swim? Yeah? Itself. Yeah, good Om. Itself. What is that itself? Is the object itself is being passed. Why? That means, remember, the methods are called for a particular object. Otherwise, they're just blueprints. Like, you know, your car, if you apply brakes, it should work. But that is the blueprint. But when you actually get the car manufactured and the brakes are there and then you press, and for that particular car itself, the brakes work. The braking functionality is implemented. So very, very important concept. The object is, the method is called for this particular object itself, Sammy. That is why Sammy is being passed here. Does this self in argument. Otherwise, it says that you're passing an argument to me, although you said you will not pass anything. Okay, so that's the logic behind self. Chalo. Now, we have spoken of methods, but how do we actually implement attributes? As I said, attributes are properties. But how do we actually? We all know that a dog will have 2 eyes. That's the blueprint. But how do you actually create an attribute for the dog? Let's take this example here, in which the shark class, which I created before. Now I am going to say that every shark that is born will be born with a name. Suppose sharks will have a naming ceremony henceforth, like us humans. And now a name will be assigned to the shark. How is that name assigned? So you now see I have brought in the method called, special function called init. What is init? Init is a constructor method. What does it construct? It constructs attributes for a class, for an object. Okay. So self comma name means what I'm saying. I'm saying at the time of creating the object, I'm going to pass a real name to this. Okay. And then I say self dot name equals to name. That means self means for that object itself, the name attribute will be initialized with this name property that is sent. Okay. Now let's see how this works out. Now, when I'm creating the Sammy object from the shark class, I'm passing a name over here called Jack. Get it? So Sammy.name equals to what now? It is equal to Jack. I can also put in a color attribute. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to modify the swim function to actually print out what is the attributes of that particular object, its color and name. So this is how you access attributes from a method present in a class. You use this. Can you please mute yourself? Whoever has put yourself on, kindly do it. Okay. So self.color, self.name means what I am going to access anywhere inside that class. I am going to access these attributes by using the self dot Okay, so let's look at it. So now what I've created the class again, the modified class shark, and I'm going to create an object out of it called Sammy. So Sammy has got two attributes, its name and its color. So Sammy.be awesome what? The shark Vidu is being awesome. So it prints its name. And Sammy.swim is what? It says that the white shark Vidu is swimming. Okay. So now please try it. If you don't try it, these are very subtle concepts. You will miss the bus. Okay. So try it, please. If you're finished, please tell me. In any case, I'm giving you 2 more minutes to finish it. Okay, right. Now we can stop. So after this, there are 4 methods. Yeah, let me see. So, Varsha, you can get the PPT of it. You should get it. It's there in your LMS, no? It's not there in your LMS. Amar, please mute yourself. Please mute yourself, guys. Please mute yourself. Amar?
Yes, I'm there. Tell me.
Yeah, Amar. Can you please address? Some of them are telling me that they didn't get the PPTs. Okay.
Oh, guys,
It's
so
not a
PPT is
PPT, it's a
already uploaded
PDF.
in the LMS.
Yes.
So
That's
those who
what
are
even
not
I
able
know.
to access the LMS now, please drop an email to edl@excelr.com. Our team will connect with you. Okay.
Please note it down quickly. Okay, chalo. I think we can move on now. So, friends, there's 4 functions which are very important to understand what are the attributes, the attribute type of your object. One is get attr, means it gets the value of a particular attribute. Has attr, it is a test of truth. It checks if the object has a particular attribute or not, true or false. Set attr, it sets a particular attribute with a value for a object. Okay. Sorry, I told you 4. Yeah. And the 4th one is del attr, means delete the particular attribute of the object, not of the class. Okay. So here, in my case, I'm checking if what is the value of the attribute name for the object Sammy. So here it is Viru. I am checking now, does the object Sammy have an attribute called color? Is it true or false? It says true. So in case my attribute was white for the color attribute, I'm setting it to black with the set attr. And finally, if I run this del attr, which I don't want to do now, delete attribute, I can delete that particular attribute for that object, for only that object, not for the class. Okay, clear? I give you a minute to think and try it out and imbibe it. So quickly, a minute or 2, take 2 more minutes. Quickly imbibe it, please. Okay. Now, I told you about a class attribute sometime back and I gave you an example. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce a class attribute over here for you. Okay, 2 class attributes. In fact, one is called location and the other is called animal type. Okay, so any object that is created out of it without even setting these attributes in the constructor method, you will be able to get these attributes automatically. Let's look at it how. Okay, so I have introduced 2 class attributes, which are constant values that you can see, and it's above the constructor method. Now I create an object out of it. And if I call the attribute location from this object, you see it already exists. So I didn't actually have to set it like I normally do inside my constructor method. So this is the beauty of the class attributes. Wherever something is going to be common across all objects and it will be a constant, you can set it as a class attribute and use it. Okay. Right. So it's 8 o'clock. I want to take a 5 minutes break. I need a cup of tea to uh, drive off, to keep me driving till 9 at least. And you can also step out if you want to. So let's be back by 8:05 or around 8:10. That's okay. We will take up inheritance after this. Another very important concept is inheritance. Yeah. Then we will go into the mini assignment that we were discussing yesterday. So if you don't want to go out and take a break, please go through the programs that I was doing. You will find it in your PDF and you can work it out. Or I'm keeping my screen here. You can look at the programs that I did and you can work it out. Okay, please mute yourself. Amar, can you mute everybody, please?
काय सांग नाही तर तो नीट लावले वासच नाही
Okay, so I'm back, and I hope you have finished and come back as well. I'll wait for 2 more minutes before I start. In the meanwhile, you're free to ask your questions. 2 minutes, you have questions to ask. Please go ahead and do so. No questions? Okay. Fair enough. I'll wait for 2 more minutes before I start. How to identify attributes and properties in class as well as object. What do you mean by identifying attributes? See, in class, I gave you an example, like the location of water, okay, ocean or all. And rest in objects naturally, na? Like say 2 eyes, skin color, length, height of a person, weight of a person. These are all object attributes because these will vary from person to person. Correct? Eyes of a human will vary. It may be brown, black, bluish. But what is common? That we all live on Earth. So location is Earth. So this is a class attribute. Okay. Now let's take the concept of inheritance. Yeah. Inheritance basically is a method by which you end up reusing functionalities, options available, attributes available in some other class, and so that you don't have to recode again. This comes from the human concept of inheritance, right? We inherit something or other from our parents, something or other, something or something else from our family, right? Like maybe land, gold. What else do we inherit? Come on, guys, give me an example. Come on, be more participative. How do I even understand if you're not participative that you're even getting me or not? Parent to child, what parent to child? Friday evening, I think you people are bored out, huh? Yeah, qualities, very good. What else? Similarities are transferred, okay. Someone's mic is on. Okay. Can't hear me properly. Can you hear me properly now? Am I properly audible? Okay, thank you. Let's see if I'm connected. Yes, I'm connected to my Bluetooth. So no disturbance should come in now. Right. Okay. Right. You have got it. Okay. Now, so let's take from the perspective of a OOP concept. Okay. Say the class fish. Okay. Now, let's introduce a few more. We will create a class called fish, okay, with some attributes and two methods. What attributes? We are having, say, the first name of the fish, last name, skeleton, and eyelids. Now, you quickly tell me, guys, what is this last name equals to fish or skeleton equals to bone? What are these? What are these? We have studied it. What are these? These are not attributes. These are default parameters. Functions, we have studied it, right? Default parameters, default values of a parameter. Okay, that means I'm saying if nothing is passed as last name or skeleton or eyelids, you consider these. Now what I'm doing, I'm setting these attributes. Then I'm creating two methods again, swim and swim backwards. Okay. Now that this class is created, and I am going to create a new class goldfish, which inherits from this class fish. That means what? It is going to copy in ditto all its attributes and functions. Look at it. I'm saying class goldfish, then within bracket fish. That means I'm saying goldfish inherits from class fish. And then you see do nothing, pass. Now, if I create this class goldfish and create objects out of it, look at it. I passed it names, first name. I passed it a last name as well. Okay. And I am able to call its method swim and swim backwards. Okay. So this was a case in which I directly plain and toto copied every attribute of the parent class. Now there are situations in which you need to overcome some attributes of a parent class. So what you will do, suppose the class shark, it doesn't have eyelids. It has eyelids. Unlike fish, it has eyelids. And it doesn't have bony skeleton. It has a cartilage. Okay. So you see what? Instead of inheriting everything from the class fish, for the class shark, I am creating its own constructor method. And a swim backwards method also for it, because unlike other fishes, sharks can't directly swim backwards. It sinks and swims back. Okay. What have I inherited in that case? I have inherited the method be awesome. Swim, not be awesome, swim. So let's look at it. Now I created the class shark. I gave it a name. Now you see its attribute, skeleton is cartilage. The swim method was inherited, so I didn't have to write it. I automatically used it. And then swim backwards method. Okay, got it? Now, if you have understood this, I want you to implement this quickly. Code it out. You can copy it from your LMS, or let me pass it on to you here in, but I doubt if you can copy from this, but I'm just trying. Class goldfish. Try this. Code was unable to get copied. Okay, at least try, yeah. Try it out on your own. Yes, scroll the screen down. Yeah, sure, I will scroll it down. Is it okay? I'm giving you some time so that you can type out the code and try it. It's very important that you do it. Okay, take a minute more, please. Okay, right. So this is the basics of inheritance. Now you can actually even do multiple inheritance, like to give you an example. Okay. Like say to give an example here, don't do it now. There's a class called coral reef, and there's two classes called coral and animal. This class coral reef inherits from both animal and coral. Okay. So this is an example of multiple inheritance, right? And one more concept that I have to tell you is partial inheritance. For example, suppose the class trout, it is also a fish, but unlike other fishes, it stays in river. So for this class trout, I'm going to introduce a new attribute called water. Where does it stay? By default, the parameter is river. Okay. Now you can see I am assigning this attribute self.water equals to water. Then what I did is, since I have introduced just this one attribute and rest everything I wish to inherit from the parent class. So I call the constructor of the method of the parent class and passed with the first name attribute. Remember, we were passing the first name to fish. You remember here, rest all were by default. And how do I call this parent class constructor method? By using a built-in function called super. So super dot underscore underscore init underscore underscore means I am calling the constructor method of the parent class and inheriting all of its other attributes. Okay. So now if you see, I have created the class trout, and to it I have passed the first name Nemo. And what is the attribute first name? This so and so. And where does this fish stay? It stays in a river. So trout dot water equals to river. Okay. So this was the concept of inheritance. If you have a question related to it, please feel free to ask me. If you don't have, I will go to the concepts of private, strongly private methods and polymorphism. Okay, private and strongly private attributes. If you remember, I discussed at the beginning when we did the grammar syntax of Python, the syntax rules. Anything which starts with a single attribute, a single underscore is what? What is it? What is it? Single attribute underscore is private, correct. And multi means two underscores is strongly private. Right, now let's quickly look at it. So what I am doing now is, see that multi-inheritance scenario only I have taken. It's class coral, class animal. Now if you see here in this class animal, I have put in a strongly private attribute called LOC. And then I put initialized it with a private location variable. I have also introduced a strongly private method called print class clownfish. And within this method, I am accessing this strongly private attribute, LOC. You can see this over here. I also have another method here called community, which calls this strongly private method print clownfish from within it. Call the strongly private method. Then what do? I inherit coral reef from both animal and coral classes. And then what? I call Amar, can you please mute everybody?
Yes, I muted everybody, but you need to unmute one more.
Guys, you need to keep yourselves mute. Don't cause trouble for others. Okay. Right. So what do we do now? Now let's check out something very interesting. Yeah. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to, let me see if I have a better class. Now let's call this, yeah, over here. I was here. Right. So now I will create the class. Okay. Now this animal object is a object of class animal, where we have introduced the strongly private attribute and strongly private method. Now you see, I'm trying to invoke the LOC attribute underscore LOC from the animal method. Now you see what happens. So I get an error. It says name ANM is not defined. Sorry, that is not. Says sorry, animal object has no attribute LOC. But that's not correct, right? Because I've initialized it. So what is happening is that it is masking off this information. This class is hiding this information to the outside world. because object is a means of accessing the internals by the outside world. So it has masked it. This is what happens with a strongly private attribute. Similarly, if I try to call the print underscore clownfish method from animal object, see, I will again get an error. Okay, but if I call the, where did it go? If I call the community method, you see this anm.community. Now you see what it does. Animals don't live in a community. Animals protect clownfish. Its location is burrow. Do you see? Only the community method could be called by the outside world. And this internally called the strongly private method print clownfish, which internally could call the underscore underscore LOC attribute. Is it clear with you now what is private and what is strongly private attributes? Yeah? Clear? Yeah, Himashi, you can please type in your question. Please type in your question. Please ask me if the concept is not clear. It is okay if you have not understood it. Okay. Anybody's got a question on this topic? Okay. Okay. The last topic that we will see is called as what? It is called as polymorphism. So it's more like a theory over here. So polymorphism is, as we have discussed before. Okay, please repeat again topic. Which topic? Jayanti. Which topic you want me to repeat? Tell me the topic name. Inheritance. Okay. See, inheritance, quickly I will tell you, inheritance is basically, it's a way of smart programming. You program, write code in such a way that you don't have to repeat the same functionalities again and again. So in such cases, by using classes, which already does 90% of your work, you inherit them and then you build up on it. For example, what is inheritance? Suppose the class vehicle. If you have a class vehicle, it can be a parent class to what sort of classes? Can you give me example? What can be the child class of the class vehicle? Car, bus, okay, no. Yeah, car, bus, correct. Or it may be LMV, right? Heavy vehicle, right? So these are an example of inheritance. So when you have to inherit something, you have to first define the parent class. To give you that example again, I have defined a parent class called fish with all its attributes. And now to create the child class, I have to create the child class, but in bracket within it, I have to give the parent class name. You can inherit all the attributes, methods of a parent class. You can override certain methods like the constructor method or any other method, or you can even partially inherit. Yeah, that is the logic behind inheritance. Yes, correct, Narsimha. Parent-child relationship is also inheritance method. Exactly. Okay. Jayanti, is it okay now? Okay, good. Thank you. Now, all that you have to do is to try it. Okay, the paucity of time, because inheritance and all, it needs some time to type out, but you have to try this. Okay, now last topic that we will quickly go through is the concept of polymorphism. You remember I had told you about things like plus operator. What did I tell you about operator, plus operator? How do we use it in numbers, numeric data type? Add, okay. How about string? Add, okay. And how about in concatenate, good, and list? Okay, concatenate. Okay, right. Now you see this concept is known as operator overloading. Now what happens is, you see, as I showed you there in the shark class, okay, in shark, the swim backwards method was very different from its parent fish class. Swim backwards in fish was different. They are implementing different functionalities. So the property by which a class exhibits different property than some other class is known as polymorphism. Same thing exists in different forms and definition. Okay, this is the definition. Polymorphism can be carried out through inheritance with subclasses, making use of base classes or overriding them, or even you can form actually different methods in different classes with the same name. Okay, so they will exist in that particular namespace of that particular class. So they are insulated from each other. Remember namespace? We have discussed it yesterday. This is where the namespace is so important. So the add class, add method for number class will be different from that in list because then is how, because list will have, the object will have a different namespace, whereas number object will have a different namespace. Okay, this is how they will be implemented. Okay, so right, that is all about operator overloading and polymorphism. This is all that is there to, this is actually not all that is there to classes. You have to work out it more. Like you have to understand the details of things like MRO, etc. So you go through them slowly, but this is a good introduction for you. Now, if you stick to it, work out programs, try out on your own, read more, search more, explore more, then your base will become very strong. Classes and objects, if you mastered it, no, woo, interviews will become very easy. Yeah, okay. Chalo. Any questions? Any doubts? Shushmita, you will not get a mail. You will have to send a mail. Okay, Dr. Pradeep. What is the difference between overloading? Overloading and overriding. Okay. See, overriding, colloquially, this is more relevant when we are inheriting. Okay, when we are inheriting. And overloading is more like this, that same thing is there, but in different forms. It's called operator overloading, like plus, like star. Okay. Yes, right, Maridas. Different parameters are different implementation. Okay, so I bring the class per se to a stop. And I will wait for a minute or two for you to settle down. Stack Overflow? What Stack Overflow, Murli? I didn't understand. Yeah. Okay. So encapsulation, what was encapsulation concept? Tell me. So how did we implement encapsulation? We did private, public, etc., right? That is one way of encapsulating. Correct? Encapsulating means hiding data. Okay. So we use, these are called as access modifiers. There's another way to do it that's called as properties by which you set up getter and setter methods, but not of it now. These are all decorators. So we don't have that much time to discuss it. But encapsulation means hiding data or encapsulating data in such a way that others don't have access to it. Yes. Overriding concept is used in inheritance. Correct. Yeah. As we saw, partial overriding, complete overriding. Okay. Come on, more questions are welcome. Otherwise, I will slowly start preparing for the small assignment that I discussed with you. So let me see if I have a file. So let me prepare it. Okay. Okay. Let me take a very easy over here. Instead of making life difficult for you, what I will do, I will remove all these and create something. CO2 equals to, say, 90 and say temp equals to, say, 35. Okay. Similarly, let me prepare the data, then I will talk to you. As say 50, temperature is 30. Okay, and so last scenario, let's take this. CO2 equals to 110. Temperature is say over here 50. Okay. Now these all I will remove. This is all that is there. Parameters. Clean room parameters. Clean room params. Okay, now I will set up my screen again. Yes, I know, Jayanti, I was getting the data ready. So please wait. Yes. Okay. Now this is my JSON file. What is JSON? If you have read what is JSON, come on, tell me, those of you who have read what is JSON. Not good, yeah. You should be able to tell me. JSON. What is JSON? JavaScript object notification, JavaScript file. No, not JavaScript file. Shagufta, it's JavaScript object notification file. But what does it mean, guys? What is JavaScript object notification? That's big term. I've told you yesterday. Tell me, what does it do? Please tell me, what does it do? See, none of you have gone through it. Okay, good. Interchange data format. Right, Murli. Murli has given me a good answer. It means that you pass information by using this data format. That's it. Okay. So now, how does it look like? If you see, it has got a starting bracket like this and a closing bracket. And what I have, like a dictionary, it has got a hashed key value pair JSON object. See here, I have some device ID. And what is the carbon dioxide? Parameter carbon dioxide that it's reading and the temperature that it's reading of a particular room. Okay, similarly, some other device ID, another device. So this JSON data has data related to 3 parameters. Okay, 3 devices. What 3? These three devices. And this is how the parameter looks like. Now I save this into a file, and this JSON files have an extension called .json. Okay, .json. So where I have stored it, I've stored it in clean room params. Now let's open it. Open my new file. So what am I going to do first? I'm going to read the JSON file. So to read JSON and to work with JSON, basically, you have to import the JSON module from Python. Okay, this comes inbuilt with Python. We have seen yesterday. One more thing, guys, when you are reading a JSON file, it means it's in a serialized format. Serialized means what? Actually, something like a binary format. So this data transfer in a JSON file between different systems happen in a binary sort of format. So you have to deserialize it into your own format. Okay. So to give an example, in olden days, they used to send telegraph, remember? So what would come? I don't know how young you guys are, but when I was growing up, when I was a very small child, at that time, telegraph was still there. So they used to send, somebody would type in takta, tadetaka, and that had a certain meaning. So the person who was receiving that code would interpret what's the meaning and send the telegraph to the receiver. Telegram, sorry. Telegraph, I think. Correct, telegraph, I'm sorry. So this is the same concept of serialization, deserialization. So we will, when we have to read a JSON file, yes, used to use in submarines, correct. So when we are going to read a JSON file, we will have to deserialize it into Python readable format. And a JSON object, when converted into a Python readable format, becomes a dictionary. So let me first import JSON. Okay. So what, let me say, I start with comments. As I say, that's a good practice. I code will read JSON file related to device data. Then what? What am I going to do? Then we have to use the JSON module to deserialize the data. I will loop through each device data. And what will I do? What do I need to do? And I will check if CO2 levels are above 100 ppm or what? Or temperature is above. What temperature is above? 50 degrees Celsius. I'm going to store. I will set a flag for such scenarios to 1 to indicate high. Then what? I will write down the devices and the highs to a CSV file with a timestamp. Okay. Now, that means I have to do JSON manipulation, and I also will have to use a module called time. Okay. Now, what do I do? So I've written, this is my design. See, in 5 points, I've told what all I need to do. So I've import the modules, import relevant modules. Okay. Now what? So I have to first read the JSON file. Read the JSON file and deserialize it. So what do I read? FP again equals to open. What will I open? I will open the file what? Clean room params dot JSON. What will I open it? I will open it in read mode. Okay, now I've opened the file. Now what? I have to read the file and deserialize it. So how will I do? So what am I going to do is, so device data equals to JSON. So JSON dot dump. Is dump or dumps? I confuse it. JSON dot dump. So I will quickly check it. I have done this program somewhere. So I'll quickly check it. What method have you used? JSON dot. Sorry, JSON dot load. Okay, sorry. JSON dot load. JSON dot load means it is a method which reads from the particular JSON file and saves it into a Python object. As I said, this Python object will be a data. Okay. Now what? Now you see there are two operations happening here. So first is a file pointer opening, file being opened. So I need to put this inside a try and except. What will I put it under? So there can be a problem in opening this file, and there can also be a problem in uploading this JSON data. So what will I do? Except I will handle this first one with IO error. This is an exception. Print error as E. Print, sorry, couldn't open the file. Open the file. Error encountered is E. Okay. And what? I might also have a problem in deserializing this JSON. Okay, so the A to be used here is, this is a, you can understand this later. It's called as JSON dot decode error, JSON decode error. So this is another exception which is built inside the JSON library itself, JSON package itself. Okay, so you inherit it. Once you inherit this, use this JSON module, it automatically comes in. So you need to catch this exception also. Try except. Okay. Now what? Now let me put all this. Okay, let me first write it. So I've done the main things. Let me also put it inside a function. Otherwise, it doesn't look good. Def what? Def what? Def what? Work with JSON. What will I do? Format indent region. Let me see if it's working fine. Yes, it is correct. So let me also save the file. programs. Let me save it here. Yeah. Read sensor data. Okay. Chalo, let's try it now. So this is done. Now, once that I have the data ready, what I am going to do is I will now this is, as I say, it is a dictionary. So acha, one more thing to be on the safe side, just so that I don't take any risk, I'm going to save this. Also give the Python path name file. Save as. Where did I save it? Okay, this is where this I didn't do it. Read sensor data. So I'm going to give the complete path, absolute path, so that I don't go into that jitpit of whether the data is there or not. That kitpit I don't like, so I'm just giving the complete path for the moment. This is just to simplify things here, but you can set all these things properly. Okay, now this is done. Now what I will do, I am going to read the loop through this data. So as I said, this is a this is going to be a dictionary. So how do we loop through a dictionary? Yes, how do we loop through a dictionary? Using what keyword? So I'm going to do like this. I'm going to loop through using a for loop. Then what? I'm going to use a method. What method? Let's say for, okay, k, let's say k comma v in dev data dot items. Okay. So what? Let me first print out and see whether my code is correct or not. I won't go into all the details now. This is how you should code. Try a bit, write a bit, try it out. See if it works. Okay. Now what? This is naturally, this is a function. So I will call this function from the main namespace. That is, we'll do like this. If underscore underscore name underscore underscore equals to main. Then what? If you are in the main namespace, then what? Call work with JSON. That's it. That's all that I'm doing. Now, when I run this script shell, okay, so what will happen is, so when you run this script, what will happen is that the shell will open up for you and you will get into the main namespace. So let's run it now and see what happens. Sorry, couldn't open the file. Encountered error is E. Okay, let's see why it couldn't open the file. Error is, sorry. Save one. No such file or directory. Clean room params.json. Okay, let's see. What did I do? Where did I put the clean room params? Clean room params. Okay. You see, so I have encountered my first error and handled it also properly. So now where did I place this? Not training. Let me put into this. Training programs. Let me put it here. Params. This. Okay, sure. Let's try now. Shell. Okay, so our code is successful till this point. Getting it? Are you following me? Are you able to understand me? Yes, Murli, this means I'm telling that I'm going to run the script. And if I'm inside the main namespace, what is the main namespace? This file, this shell, this IDLE. So when I started, do you see when I did F5, so it runs this code inside the main shell. This is what? So the main shell, what is the namespace? It's main. That means if I am inside the main namespace, invoke this function, work with JSON. Okay. So now we have been able to read the JSON file. We have been able to deserialize the data and we have been able to print it out. Now let's come up with our next option. What we will do, we will so now we will start the main logic. Okay. So now, okay, let this be, no problem. Okay. Now what if, how does the dictionary look like? This is the device and this is the key value pair over here. Let me take it. Let me see if it works. Second. Okay. So I will do one thing. I will store this also in a, okay, no problem. Let me see. So now this is the key and these are the values. So this is a dictionary of dictionaries. Now, what if I do print key, print dev dot item? Also, then what I do is dev data. Okay, let's also print this and see. Okay, then we will take the game forward. Run module. See, okay, it's printing the same thing. Okay, so now tell me, guys, look at this properly. Think of this dictionary, which has got a device as its key and this dictionary as its values. So if I have to access the CO2 value, what do I have to do? Tell me, how will you access the CO2 values? Come on, try. It's like this. Look at the dictionary. It's like this, something like this. Okay. A1, it is the device. What is its values? Something like this. Okay. So how do you access the CO2 here? How do you access the CO2 values? It's like this. D, A1, and then what? You use the CO2 as the next parameter because the CO2 is also a key for the dictionary, this dictionary. Okay. So now let's quickly look at it now. Okay. So now what was the condition if CO2 is greater than CO2 is greater than 100 or temperature greater than 50? Let's flag it and let's also write it into a CSV. Okay. So if dev data k CO2 greater than what? 100 or, see, or we are using here dev data k temp greater than 50. So these two parameters, either or, they are greater than 50. Then what? I set a alarm flag to 1. Okay. By the way, I will also keep the alarm flag initialized just in case. I will initialize it at the beginning to 0. Just setting it to a high. Now what? If it is greater than 0, now what do we have to do? We have to also got to write this into a file. What file? Let's open a file, a CSV file or a text file. Open. D violated params. Violated params dot txt. FP. And what will I do? I say a plus append. Okay. So what do I do here? I will write this data. So how do I write this data? Just fp dot write. What will I write? I will write it. Let me write it as a string. Okay. F string formatting. F device is K. And what is the value? Violated parameter is okay. Okay, let me do it this way. Violated parameter. Let me write this as a separate loop. Alarm CO2 alarm flag. CO2 alarm flag equals to 1. And then what do I do? Violated parameter is CO2. Value is what? What is the CO2? Have underscore data. Okay, sorry. And CO2. Okay. Let's see if this works. Just let me write the here. Okay. Look alarm flag. LF. See now LF. Those of you who have problems, no, Amar, please share with them the attendance link. And those of you want to leave after filling the attendance, please feel free to do it. Those of you who are interested to see how a proper code is written end to end, you can stay back. Okay, I understand it's too late. You can just leave for the day. Amar, please share with them.
Yeah, I'm sharing that.
Yes, please share. Yeah, and those of you who want to see the code being written and you want to replicate it and learn it, please stay back. So now what? Now what did I say? If the temperature is greater than 50. So now we will track the temperature part. Why did I do this device data carbon dioxide? Because I wanted to separately track them and understand which parameter was violated. Now, if temperature is greater than 50, then what? Yeah. Then what do I do? So now I set a flag called as device alarm flag, temperature alarm flag to 1. And then what do? I write into that same file again. Now what do I write? I will write the CO2 violation parameters. Okay. Right. Let's see if this works. We might have a few issues here and there. We will try to solve it also. We will see how debugging is done. Okay, else pass. Now let's see. You see, unterminated string literal. Why? Because I didn't close it. Same will be the problem here. I need to close the tag. Okay, F string expected. Yeah, correct. I'm sorry. So I missed over here. Same will be the problem here. Now let's see what happens. So over here it should be temp. Invalid syntax. Why? Because the indentation was not proper. That is why it is giving me an issue. See, so many issues will be there. Elif, temp, yeah, now it should work. Let's see. Yeah, temperature. Okay, what's the error here? Said key error, temp. What is the key error? So I need to actually catch it. See, I am working with dictionaries. So I haven't handled key errors. I should have accounted for it. So that is why I got that ugly looking error, key error. So I will handle it. Print, except key error as E. Print. Key error, the format key error encountered, error messages, error is E. And let me also put a generic exception just in case something else happens, right? Exception as E. And what? Over here now I'm going to print out some error occurred. Some error encountered. Now I have accounted for any error that might happen generally. Okay, now let's see what happens. Okay, so why did I get that error in the first place? Let me see what was my, correct, it was temp. T-E-M-P, that was my mistake. So the key name is wrong. I had put small temp. See how many problems can happen. So that is why error handling is very, very important. Anywhere else? Yes, over here also I need to give it. Pilot parameter is temperature. Sure. Yes. Let me see if it has written. Where did I put that? Training programs. Put it here. Just give me a minute, guys. Okay, it's here programs. Yeah, violated parents 1 kV. See devices so and so. Violated parameter is CO2, value is 110. You see? Okay, so our mission is accomplished. Now, why didn't it print temperature? Let's see the JSON file. Because none of the temperature went beyond 50. Let's change 1 to 50. 55. Let's say 55. And let us make this also 150 CO2. Now, let us try to implement something called time. I want to implement something called time so that the timestamp will also be there. Okay, for that, I've imported the time module and I'm going to use something else over here. Yeah, let's take this current time. I will tell you what it is. For date time, from date time, input date time, okay, so there's another module called date time, which you can use to work with date and time. Use timestamps. UTC time means the timestamp of the GMT, which is the Greenwich Meridian time. We will convert it into a string. Okay, how we will convert it into a string? That is, okay. Let's take it. Let's see ISO format. Let's see what happens with it. Let's run it. We current dot price timestamp. Timestamp is current time. Here also let's put timestamp. Okay, so have I done everything correctly? Let me review the code. I've imported date time. From date time, I've imported date time module. I've used the UTC now and ISO format to convert into ISO string format. Let's see what happens. Okay, evidently it has run. Let's open the timestamp. Okay, see, I had to append it. It has appended. Okay, only thing is the format was a bit wrong. I didn't put a new line, so I should put a new line basically so that it starts writing after the last line only. Okay, otherwise it will put into the same point. So what I will do, after every write, let me put a new line. That should solve my problem. Let's do it from the first. Okay, see, special characters. We have now covered more or less everything that we have learned. Give me a moment. I will just plug in my battery, laptop battery. Yeah, okay. 1 second, Drishti, haven't finished yet. Yes. So now let's run the code again. Run module. Okay, let's see what it has created now. Violated params. Yeah, see. Timestamp is 1C. You see this 7T1545. This is GS UTC time. So if you add to it 5.5 hours, that means there it is around 4 o'clock now in Greenwich. So for us, it is 5.5 hours. It's nearly 9:30. So this is the correct time. Okay, and device is so and so. Violated parameter is CO2, and what is its value? It is 150. Similarly, next instance at this timestamp, so and so device, so and so violated parameter. So this is, my friends, in a nutshell. Now, did you see what all I have done? First, I have written my design properly. So I had everything in mind. So I could write down clearly, line by line. Okay, what all I have to do. Then what did I do? I followed the steps. I did exception handling properly. I wrote comments. Okay. And then finally, I wrote small chunks of the code and tested it. When this worked, then only I went to the next part. Never write all the code and then test. You will run into lots of errors. Write small chunks of code. Think what you have to do. Okay, all the theory that you have read, now you should start applying it. Temperature parameter didn't print. Okay, let me see. Violated parameter is CO2 is 110. Let me see why it didn't print. It's greater than 50. Okay, this should have printed. Okay. Temperature is greater than 50. Okay. Yeah, it didn't print correct. Let me see, I will put a if over here. Let me see now. Yes, now it has printed. You're happy? Yeah, Murli? Are you happy? Okay, good. Thanks. So you know what mistake I did? I put a if else. So the moment it got for that device, it got the CO2 parameter violated, which happened in the third case. So it stopped. Rather, I should have used two ifs. Okay. So then it would have checked each one individually. Okay, then. So I bring the session to a close now. I hope you have got sufficient ammunition now to start programming with love, with sincerity, and in right earnest. It was a joy to work with you people over this 1 week. I didn't understand how time fled away, time ran away. And I'm so thankful to you for being there till the end. I hope you like the sessions. I hope you take back something useful for you. Okay. Thank you, Muli. Log file. What is log file, Shagufta? Log file, there's a module called logging, which allows you to log in data. Okay. So you can check more of it logging. Thank you, Sanjana. How to access JSON program? I didn't understand. Thank you, Vagdevi. I didn't understand your question, Jayanti. How to access JSON program means? Thanks, Varsha. Yeah. Yeah, I will send this program file as well as the JSON file to Amar, who will share it with you in your LMS. You need to change the path over here. Okay. What about the certificate? Amar, what about the certificate? Thank you.
Yeah, I will take it up.
Okay. Yeah, so Amar will take it up. Shagufta, the logging is not part of this session. Thank you, Sakshi. You can read more about logging. Now you have idea of what is module, what is everything. Now you should start developing on your own. What is logging? Check in YouTube, check in Google it out, chat GPT it. You should find all the details. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. We don't have any WhatsApp group, Mukul. I'm not sure what WhatsApp group you're speaking of. Yeah. Okay, then. Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks. Thank you, Chetrali. Thank you so much for being there till the end and being interactive. Attendance link already shared. Amar, one more time, please. Some of them have missed it, I believe, because too many messages are coming.
Oh, yeah, sure. I'm sharing.
Yeah, thank you, Varshini. Thank you, Sania, for accepting it. Yes, Sheikh, thank you. Okay, Likita, I think there more classes are starting like this. Yes, Jayanti, I will share the program as I said. Thank you, Sanjana. Yeah, thank you, Sirisha. Thank you, Fazia. Arshita, the certificates, you can reach out to the LMS team. They will take care of it. Don't worry, you will have your certificates. More than certificate, please concentrate on learning. There was a Hindi dialogue, yeah, from 3 Idiots. Kabil bano, kamyabi jhak maar ke piche pad jayegi. Okay, so become competent in programming, and certificates, accolades, jobs, everything will come. So job ready, mastering for job readiness is on you. Depends on you. The more you program, the more you love programming, the more you will be job ready. Okay, thanks a lot then. Amar, please remind me, I will WhatsApp you basically these files. Otherwise, sometimes they get stuck. Can please upload
sure.
it to them. Yeah?
Thank you so much for such a wonderful sessions.
Thank you so much, Amar, for this continuous support.
Yeah. So guys, I have some announcement regarding to the upcoming programs and the certificates. So please be there for 5 minutes. Okay.
Amar,
So
I'm
first
logging
thing is
out.
that, yeah, you have any query?
Amar, I'm logging out.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Thanks. I've got another session.
Yeah.
Good night,
So guys,
everybody.
first thing is that we are going to launch one webinar on mastering technical interview for IT graduates. Okay. So the main focus on how to crack off-campus interviews. So we are launching one webinar on mastering technical interviews for IT graduates. The main focus is on how to crack off-campus interviews, guys. So the webinar is going to happen on upcoming Sunday. Okay. And the time will be 11 to 1. So I'm sharing the registration link with you. So if you're interested, so please fill the form. You will receive a Zoom link via email. Okay. So I shared the registration link for the webinar with you in the chat box. Second announcement is that we are launching one more training program like Python. We are launching full stack development for 10 hours and it's going to start from 10 July and the time will be 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. The agenda will be for 10 hours, 2 hours per day. So I'm sharing that link with you as well. So please register for that. You will get notified for the upcoming information. Okay. And last but not, yeah, guys, if you have any query or question, please drop in the chat box. I will take it up. And one more announcement is there. Those who attended 60 and more than 60% of the session, they will receive their certificate via registered email ID within 7 to 8 working days. Okay, guys, clear? YouTube people and Zoom people, I hope everything is clear. If any question, please ask me. I will take it up. Check which link is not open. Clear? Okay. Full stack link not opening. Let me check, guys. 1 minute. Yeah, it's opening properly, guys. Share it once again. Oh, yeah. I'm sharing that once again with you guys. Yes, so webinar is going to happen on Sunday, 9th of July. Time will be 11 to 1. So the topic is how to crack off-campus interviews. And the training program is going to start from the Monday. The date will be 10th of July. And the topic is fundamentals of full stack development. Okay, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Guys, you're saying link is not opening, but it's opening for me here. Okay, I'm going to share only link with you. Just a minute. Guys, 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. Now I shared only link with you. Please try now. But for me, it's opening perfectly. What happening? I will just take that link once again from the team. Guys, be there just 2 more minutes. Sumit is saying, sir, it's properly working. Thank you so much, Sumit. Guys, it's working. Try to change your browser. Yeah, Rakesh is saying it's working. Chaitanya is saying link is working properly. Thank you so much, guys. Okay, if you're not able to open that now, so drop an email to edl@excel.com. We'll share the link via email. Okay, it's working, sir. Okay, thank you for confirmation, team. Anything else? Okay, guys, thank you so much for joining the session. We'll meet you on webinar as well as next training program on full stack. Okay. Thank you so much, all of you. Bye guys. Happy weekend.